Bro, let's go. It's getting real. So what's going on, guys? It is your boy Kimbo here, and it is time for an epic Bakugan Evolutions episode review. So it's number 26. Thought it was gonna be it, because just like the pattern we've seen before, but yeah, well, we're getting into the crazy meat and potatoes of this season, man. Like, where everything's just starting to hit the fan. Yeah, we're getting into the full course, man. It's arrived. So with this, they're progressing big time with the storytelling. That's what they do with, how they've done it with just Bakugan, with the reboot in general. They move along with the plot really quickly. Big time development, even with just like 1-2 episodes. Progressing with it. So getting into this, man, 26. So the first part of this episode, we start off in basically Faustus's kind of research room on the academy. And holy crap, it's windy. I don't know if it's gonna be like big time loud and with the mic, but in case it is, I'm just gonna talk kind of louder. But we're in Faustus's research lab. Around the elemental inductor, you got Faustus, you've got Benton there, you've got Hackett, you've got Winton. They're all sitting there researching this thing, and they're trying to get it started up, but it's not starting up. So they're having issues with it, with the research and such. They're like, after even all of this research and time that we put into this, it's still not working. And then Winton's like, well, I'm out of ideas too. I don't even know what to do. And basically, Faustus was like, there's one person I know that could possibly help with this. And then we get a cutscene. So it's the next day. It's at the Bakugan Academy. We've got all the remaining teachers, along with the awesome brawlers, and Athena, all just sitting. And so they're out at the battlefield. And then Sykes is like, they're here. And basically who it is that shows up, it's Callie, Chat, it's Short. It's basically Short's whole entire group. Short's Academy has appeared with this. And basically Faustus is sitting there asking them for help. Like, they need their help in order to really get this working. But he needed the assistance of Professor K. Professor K is the R-list teacher with the gray hair with the gold strands and such that stick out a little bit. Yeah, that's Professor K. It reminds me of it reminds me of Jet Set Radio Future. Anybody who's played it, it's the game that got me into art big time. You're part of a group known as the GGs. You rollerblade around and stuff, and you spray graffiti, and it kind of flushes out all the corruption and such with the graffiti. It's really cool. But basically, the guy behind the music, his name was DJ Professor K, and just reminded me of that. Just a little reference with it. But yeah, so Professor K is the one that Faustus really needs help from. And then, of course, he's like, well, I'm here to watch out for the benefit of these students. I'm not technically a part of this academy anymore. And then Short's basically just like, we're going to have an ultimate battle. So the big showdown with the two different branches, the big division of the academy, it's time. And it's going to get settled once and for all, one way or another. So with this, it is, basically Short's Academy versus Faustus's Bakugan Academy. And whoever wins this gets absolute total control. So, yeah, man, with it, we get an intense battle. It's Coach Short and also Professor K taking on Dan and Athena. They're the ones that step up. Originally, Faustus didn't seem like he was going to say that, but then they volunteered, and then they just looked back and nodded and smiled. And then Faustus was like, okay, understood. I believe in you. So we get a big battle. We've got Colossus and the R-list teacher's Bakugan. They still haven't said its name, man. They got to be saving it for one of the last waves. One of the new waves is going to be coming out maybe end of summer or such. They got to put out the mold for that, man. They got to make that a freaking Bakugan, because they made all the other teachers Bakugan actual Bakugan. Maybe some of them, I think, maybe they'll be mythics. I could see us getting more mythics, considering we got more cosplay combos. I can imagine us getting more mythics with another line down the road. Yeah. Then we get Bakugan, like maybe like Simoga, because they've had a few Simoga show up with this, you know. But yeah, maybe a few of those older Bakugan that we've seen in the show getting mythics. I can imagine it happening, like boosted stats and everything, and maybe some factions we didn't see with them before the first time around. But yeah, regardless, I'm hyped for it. So yeah, the Arliss Teacher's Bakugan, the Bat Skeleton looking one, and Colossus versus Blitzfox and Drago. At first, they're getting pummeled, that being Dan and Athena. When they're facing them, they basically did the divide and conquer strategy, trying to take on each of them one by one, but it failed. Honestly, big time failed, because the teacher's just being so strong, so powerful. They tried to divide and conquer, but it didn't work out. And even Short got like strength mode in right away. The Arliss Teacher does not even use strength or speed mode with this Bakugan. That freaking Bat Skeleton looking one is just a monster. It's a beast, man. Like, yeah, boy strong. He ain't even got like strength or speed mode. He's just using the power straight out of the gate, man. So they're still hyping up Arliss with it, showing how strong it is. Be nice if we got some like plus 400 cores for Arliss boosting, and also like plus 3 fists, like plus 3 damage fists for Arliss as well. Like, we just need some boosting for the cores for sure with Arliss. But yeah, big time battle. Every time they had a move, they had a response for it. But then there was a point where the Arliss Teacher thought Dan was trying to focus on him, on his Bakugan. He dodges it. He's like, "You think you're gonna hit me with that? Wait, that was meant for." He realized it wasn't meant for him. He was attacking Colossus, so Dan attacks Colossus, and then they start working together, you know, like a true tag team battle. Because if they try to go one-on-one, it seems like they're gonna lose. So they start putting their power together. Dan and Athena start really battling together, man. You can tell, like, you know, like rivals, but more like friends now, like definite big time friends, because it's about the future of the world and also Vestroya. Everything's at stake with this, and they realize that, you know, so they're working together really, really well. But then Short basically, well, Athena tried to use Nano Gear. The Arliss Teacher didn't allow it. Short got his Nano Gear out first, and then gets a big time hit in. Athena and Blitzfox basically shield Drago from that big hit. But in the meantime, he switched to strength mode, and he got the Nano Gear out. So Athena made that small little window. That way he could actually send out like his Nanogon and then get the Nano Gear. And she's like, I leave the rest to you, Dan. And then sure enough, Dan got his Nano Gear. Drago uses Nano Gear with Fury, with the sword, so sick, and takes out both their Bakugan. And they have won. So in other words, Faustus's Academy takes the win with it. And then Short's Academy falling back in line with it. But it's not so much as falling in line. It's like trying to go and be friends and such again. Because the whole thing started because they didn't trust Faustus. I'm trusting him a bit more now, because it seems like things are really coming together. But I'm still a little I'm a little about it, so I don't fully I trust him more, but not completely, just because, like, you still got Wrath out there lingering, and it could be where, like, maybe his power comes back, he re-corrupts Faustus, and then just, you know, tries to use him for evil again. Maybe. They did say that, like, his power completely went, but until everything pans out, don't know. So just take that with a grain of salt, you know. But then after that, Chat and Callie were like, wow, that was unexpected. Well, I guess we have to fall back in line and join back at this academy. And then Athena having a changed attitude, you know, not trying to be like, oh, hey, being number one and everything, you know. Still trying to be strong and everything, but really enjoying the battles now, you know, not just thinking about the studies or becoming number one, not just being focused on, like, being the best with strength and power. I mean, she's still up there for sure. Athena's powerful, and it shows, man. When this all resolves, I hope she's like a character like Magnus, because we gotta see her, man. Like, if we have future seasons, which I'm hoping we have a season 5 and even beyond, so I definitely hope to see Athena come back, man, because she's a really awesome character, really solid. If she's not officially one of the awesome brawlers, I hope she has like a Magnus role for sure, like kind of that role, like a similar kind of role. You know what I mean? Like how they have Magnus come back and such. But yeah, even the Arliss Teacher was like, it's great to see Athena actually enjoying battles and having so much fun with it. And then Short was reluctant at first to join back in. He's like, well, a promise is a promise, but for the sake of the future, we all have to work together. And then he shakes Faustus's hand, you know. So everything gets resolved. The whole conflict with the academy has been settled. They're back together, one single academy, even stronger now, honestly, because they went through all that and such. And I mean, Short's Academy, they're strong. It shows. They're very, very strong. And like with Faustus' side, you already know they're strong. The Awesome Brawlers and such, like they all had their power for sure, and they just put in that work, man. And now being fully united and such, they've got all the brains and all the power that they need going forward. But things are about to get wild. The question is, will it be enough? Honestly, I enjoyed this first part of this episode. It resolved everything with the conflict with the Academy and such. All came full circle, and it got resolved with this in a very nice way, man. But that's not it. We gotta get into the second part of the episode too. So the plot's thickening that much more. We get into the main course, starting to dig into, like, if you're thinking Thanksgiving dinner, I'll put this in terms of Thanksgiving dinner. We ain't got the turkey yet, but we got like the side stuff, like the sweet potatoes, the mac and cheese, the mashed potatoes, the green bean casserole, all that good stuff coming in. Basically everything besides like the main thing, that being the turkey, you know. But we're getting all the rest of the stuff with this, and we're getting even more with this part. So it starts off with the Awesome Brawlers as well as Benton and some members of AA Animus like Kravitz being on a ship. So they're sitting there talking. They continued, like, it's like off-screen kind of dialogue type stuff. So there was a cutscene back to where Magnus showed up at Studio B, and he talked to the Awesome Brawlers and Athena, basically saying how all the stuff that he found out, that being like Jansen Tech working together with the Gate Crushers, like funding the Gate Crushers, Sun 17 Security, how it's all linked together, and the main person behind it being Ted Jansen, who is also known as Gregorius Reed. So Reed is back, and they said the name of him, and it was just building to this point. So now the Awesome Brawlers know after Magnus said everything. But Magnus didn't tag along with them. And Dan was even like, that Magnus, he didn't even want to come and join us with this. And then Drago said he had something else that he had to do. So, we get a cutscene to their base. They're dropping down on the Gate Crusher's base itself. So they land, and they're like, wow, we have to sit here and make sure they don't see us coming. And then you just hear a voice, we've seen you coming from miles away. And then it's McHugh. McHugh shows up, and he has a few guards with him and such, and sitting there just having this, like, you know, like this snarky kind of dialogue, just saying, like, you know, along the realms of, like, them all being weak and such, and this time they're going down. Like, they're done. You're not getting away this time, and we're gonna beat you. So they send out their Bakugan. Awesome Brawlers all send out their Bakugan. Basically, I think it's Ajit, Shun, and Leah that stuck behind. But then you had Winton and Drago going ahead. You know. And then, you know, basically splitting them up. So the whole thing of, like, splitting up, divide and conquer. They're doing the divide and conquer strategy. Honestly, they played right into this again, man. You would think they'd all stay in one spot, but, like, you know, they're like, we got to move ahead and try to divide and conquer because they're using their strength, you know. So I guess they had no choice in this matter. So they're sitting there battling. And at first, like, the people by McHugh were like, you're just going to let them go? You're going to let them go ahead? And he's just like, Wagner's going to take care of them. The only one I care about is Kazami. So he's going right after Shun because, you know, like, McHugh hates the Kazami family. Such, like, they got that big time rivalry, and he's just trying to whoop them. And he's saying, oh, this time you're not going to come out on top. You know, just talking smack to him. And then you got Dan and Winton moving ahead, moving forward. And they... I think it was Dan Winton. I think Lightning as well, like, moved ahead. And then sure enough, you know, dang it if I don't have a brain fart. Wagner himself, I had to think of his name. Wagner shows up, and he's like, we're not running or hiding. Today is going to be the day where we crush you. We absolutely obliterate you. And then afterwards, you just see a man show up and you hear a voice. That sounds fun. It's a man that shows up in a suit. He's got golden hair now with like a silver strip in it. Kind of like the Doji effect where he comes back after Like, you know, it's a Beyblade reference, but he comes back after with like a little bit of a different attire, like different hair color and stuff, you know. But a returning evil. It is your man, Ted Jansen, aka it's Gregorius Reed, dude. Gregorius Reed himself. Back in the freaking flesh, dude. He's back. And then we get the big time story with him. So, you know, Dan's like, it's you. And then, of course, you know, Benton being like, Reed, what are you up to? So, Reed explains how after his beloved Bakugan left him, aka Villock, you know, because even Reed, having like really, really evil intentions and such, still was very, very like close with Villock, kinda, you know. Even if they both like they were both evils and such, but he saw him as his beloved Bakugan, you know. Well, I guess it would probably be like Spartillion, you know, either like Villock or Spartillion. But I'm guessing it's like Villock in this case because he's like, my beloved Bakugan betrayed me. So yeah, I'm guessing it was, yeah, Spartillion, because that they both betrayed him in a way, you know, because Spartillion was working under Villock, you know. But yeah, after his beloved Bakugan betrayed him, he completely lost everything. He's like, I lost everything. And he absolutely hated Bakugan in general with a big time passion. So he worked in order to have Bakugan get banished back to Vestroia. And then of course it's like our goals are one and the same. And that's what you know, Wagner said, our goals are one and the same, so it made full sense to work together. And you know, it's why they joined with the Gate Crushers. They're basically just trying to separate Bakugan from humans and such, because Reed's on that extreme side now. He's like, screw Bakugan, I hate Bakugan, they're awful, and I'm gonna force them to go back to Vestroia. And that's working with the technology of like, well, you know, the resources of Jansen Tech, Gregorius Reed, having all that money. You know, the Gate Crushers worked under that because they had the funding in order to go about, you know, their projects and everything. And then, of course, Dan and the others are getting pissed at this. Like, they're not taking that shit. They're like, they're so mad. And then we get a brawl. We get a big-time brawl going on. But he's like, this time you are not going to win. He's basically saying, I'm going to crush you underneath my foot. So with this time, the cores, they perfected the system. So the first time, it made it where, like, cores just vanished. But now, they made it where the cores actually will disappear for them, for like the awesome brawlers and the enemy, but they can summon as many cores as they want to at will and just start throwing them, giving them all power, giving all the Bakugan power. You know, Wagner sends out his 17 Syndiuses, and then also the other brawlers sending out like their Hydronoid and Simoga and such, which I hope if they make mythics, like I wouldn't mind seeing like a mythic for like Hydronoid or Simoga or such, you know, some of these other Bakugan. Would absolutely love to see that, man, because I really like the design for even the core Hydronoid. It looks so cool. But yeah, dude. And then whenever the awesome brawlers try to attack, they put up a barrier. So like, you know how they have like the Tusk Guard before, they perfected it. So it's a barrier whenever they try to attack them, there's nothing they can do to break through. And that's the same thing for the other brawlers. They're having the same issue, like the Tusk Guard going up around all those Bakugan. So we're getting a big time conflict here. So in the middle of that battle where they're sitting and they're struggling, you hear this loud poof! And then there's a huge explosion over behind like Reed and Wagner. And they're like, what? And then basically one of the reps said, the energy point has been destroyed. So in other words, like, you know, the barriers and everything not working as much. But before that actually happened, Dan and Drago were getting super pissed. Like, Dan was getting pissed. He's like, we're supposed to sit here and we're gonna grow and we're gonna grind together, because it's about that bond between Bakugan and humans, and you're not gonna separate it. And then we have another core show up. Of course, not supposed to show up. So Gregorius Reed, oh, excuse me, Ted Jansen. No, it's Reed. Screw it. It's Reed. We all know it is him. But Reed and Wagner are both sitting there like, what? How is that possible? And Wagner's like, I have no idea. It's basically the bond between Dan and Drago being stronger than that machine. It's like some Ash Greninja or freaking Ash and Lucario type vibes. They have that close connection, you know. I just thought of that reference because like the Masters tournament happening with Pokemon and such. But yeah. So they get that big time bond. Manage to have a core show up. Strength mode. It's still not breaking through. But then when that boom happened, um, then Dan and Drago were able to go in and attack all the other Bakugan because the Tusk Guard went down. And after the boom happened, they're like, but how? Who attacked it? And then you see Nilius flying, man. And it's Magnus that did it. He went and destroyed this, this power center. And then Dan and Drago go in, whoop all of them, shut down their Bakugan, and, that's basically it. But then Wagner and Gregorius Reed are just like, all right, that's it for today. And then they're gonna go and like take the ship and head out. Well, in the middle of that battle, Dusk and Kravitz left. They're like, we got another plan. We're gonna cut them off. So meanwhile, while all this craziness is happening, Gregorius Reed and Wagner are trying to get away. They're like, we have plenty of different hideouts, so it doesn't matter. We can go to this one or this one or this one. And then Kravitz and Dusk were just like, no, we're stopping you right here and now. All your other sites have been found. They've been, overcome by our agents. They've been overtaken by our agents, so there's nowhere that you can go. It's over. It's done. And then you just see Wagner just, and he's like, fine. For now, I admit defeat. He doesn't admit defeat, man, but he's like, for now, I admit defeat. But he put out a big warning. He said there's going to be a catastrophe for humanity that's soon to come. So it's much bigger than this, man. I'm thinking it's the same thing that it was before, where they're working with Wrath a little bit behind the scenes, because Wrath being more on the extreme side when it comes to the Bakugan, like separating Earth Destroyer and then ruling under his like wing. So they don't care. Like it would make sense if they work together. They each get something out of it, Separation of Earth and Vestroya. So Reed and Wagner get what they want, but then Wrath taking over Vestroya, even making the Supreme Bakugan Council kneeling at his feet. But they don't care because they're separated. They don't care what happens to Vestroya. If Wrath wants to take over it, he's more than willing. They're like, do as you please. We just want to separate it. But yeah, man. So overall, it got wild with this. But the thing is, like, when the Brawlers got back together and were talking, and Magnus showed up and dropped down with Nilius, Magnus himself said that he wasn't the one that destroyed that plant. It was Wrath. Wrath was the one that destroyed the plant. He's been sitting in the background. It was a given. He was sitting in the background just waiting for the perfect time to go in and do something. And this was his move, going into that plant and just, absolutely obliterating it. But they're like, why would Wrath help us? He wasn't helping them. He's helping himself. He probably went to that plant and maybe absorbing power from the plant, But, yeah. We got the big build-up, man. All hell's gonna break loose. Crap's gonna hit the fan in a major way with the next episode, and it shows, man. The big build-up is there, so I think the next episode is where we're gonna see the return of Wrath and where all hell's gonna break loose. I see him waiting for the elemental inductor. He's trying to have the elemental inductor work again. And then once it works, I see him taking the power of that inductor and absorbing all of it to become the ultimate Bakugan. That's how we get a big build-up. Maybe that's how we get, like, Genesis Wrath, where Wrath has the power of all the different attributes and stuff. Because, we got the Genesis collection being a thing now. People are finding it in stores. Definitely on the lookout myself. You already know, because Light Up Bakugan 2, like that Genesis collection, is looking sick. But, yeah. It's about to get really, really real. We're going to see Wrath come back big time. For now, Gregorius Reed and Wagner have been taken into custody. But the question is, will they escape? McHugh slipped away. He slipped away from the other group, and he got away. They didn't capture him. So it's like they won the battle, but the war's still going on, man. And it's like all these things are connecting to Wrath. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, Jansen Tech, like, you know, Gregorius, Reed, Wagner, the Gate Crushers, Elemental Asylum, all of them working under Wrath. Well, you know, in cahoots with Wrath, like I said before. So they each get what they want. Separating Earth and Vestroia. So Reed and, you know, Wagner get what they want. The Gate Crushers get what they want. And Reed gets his revenge. But also, on this side, Wrath having ultimate power, and then once it gets to that point, like, Wrath will have the power maybe to try and split Earth and Vestroia, having this much strength, where he could do it himself. But then not only split them, which would go on the side of, like, Wagner and Reed, what they want, but also he becomes like a true god of a Bakugan and can take down even the Supreme Bakugan Council. Like, they ain't gonna stop him. Pyravian ain't gonna stop him. Nobody gonna stop him, you know? Leading up to that point, and all hell's gonna break loose and things are gonna hit the fan with the next episode, and I'm all here for it, man. I'm hype. It's gonna be wild for sure. But yeah, and all these freaking flies, get out of here, man. All these gnats. It's gnat, okay, that you're doing that. But yeah, anyways, guys, overall really sick episode. If you haven't seen, I recommend watching it for sure, man. Like, things are getting really intense. I love it. Big time resolution with stuff with this, like the good-hearted stuff. Like, they're still adding in like good-hearted moments, but also things getting intense, and you know things are gonna get wild, man. So we're at least getting what, like maybe 30 episodes or something. But yeah, I'm hyped. Regardless, it's gonna be freaking bonkers how this all goes down. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode review on Bakugan Evolutions, episode number 26. My age, too. Next one being 27. But, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm hyped. I'm definitely looking forward to the Bakugan they're going to put out. They got to put out, like, Speed Mode Drago, you know, the mode for that. Like, it's got a mode. So Speed Mode Drago, you know, maybe they just call it Evo Drago or something. Also, like, the strength and speed mode for some other Bakugan, like Pharaoh, like Hydrus, you know. Also seeing some more Bakugan like Trox and Howlcore getting put into the fray of things, you know. Seeing their molds, you know, re-put in. Like, with some of the 3-packs, we've been seeing, like, Trox and Howlcore get put in. So, adding some of those Bakugan in as well. And some other Bakugan, like the Arliss Teacher's Bakugan, as well as Wrath. Yeah, man. I'm hyped. I'm hyped to see what other figures they're going to put out for the rest of the year, because they got to have a bunch just chalked up. You know they got them for the rest of the year, but we just got to see those waves go on. We're starting to see even more start to get released now with it being the summer, man. Summer is on, and the hype is real. And I'm looking forward to things with the future of Bakugan, man. I'm praying we get a season 5 for sure, man. Like, with how successful things are now, I can imagine it going for 5, even 6, even like maybe 7 seasons and such. But yeah, especially if they manage to get the cards out there in a big time way, man. The potential is there. If they utilize all that potential, it can go for a long time, I'd say. But yeah, dude. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode review. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to slice that like button down below. Let me know how I did. If you're new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe for some epic content, because I upload daily. And if you haven't already, be sure to ring that bell by my channel name to be notified whenever I upload a video. So yeah, guys, till next time, it is your boy Kimbo signing off. See you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Till then, stay awesome and Bakugan Brawl. I'm up out of here.